do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
of the office
of the office
of Ulster County Executive
of Ulster County Executive
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Patrick Ryan is now your Ulster County.
So I've heard this phrase, the honeymoon period. I'm going to take your advice, Comptroller, and remember that round of applause, and hope that that I can maintain that love that you showed to me. So thank you very much. Lieutenant Governor Hochul, your words were powerful and mean a lot to me. And you being here, and also representing, of course, Governor Cuomo. You're our key strategic partner, and we are here for you as well. I know our agendas are closely aligned, and I'm really excited to work with you. And Comptroller DiNapoli, I couldn't think of anyone else who I'd rather have swear me in. Your long record of leadership, your energy, your optimism. It's a model that I'm going to try to follow. So thank you. Sheriff Figueroa, it's also an honor to have you lead us today. I consider you a friend, a mentor, and someone I'm really excited to work with. So thank you. I won't repeat all the other great folks, elected officials, community leaders, hundreds of people who are serving our community in their way, who are here, but know that it means a heck of a lot to have you all here, packed into this room, and I am soaking it all in. So thank you, and most importantly to my family, my mom Patty, and my dad Kevin. I know how fortunate I am, and the more years I've lived, the more I realize that. So thank you, and to my wife. To my wife, Rebecca, I can't begin to describe how lucky I am. And I'm so excited that we're going to make a 6th generation of Ryans here in Ulster County in about 7 weeks, right? Ish. She looks incredible for being so pregnant. Thank you. Appreciate it. So 15 years ago, almost exactly 15 years ago, and 37 miles south of where we're gathered here today, I stood on a bright green, I can still picture it, grassy field at Mikey Stadium. And just like I did today, I raised my right hand and I took my commissioning oath. And I can still vividly remember this flood of emotions and mix of emotions I felt as my classmates, just under 1,000 of us, all in unison tossed up our white service caps. It was pride, and it was elation at having made it through 4 tough years at West Point. It was pride and humility knowing that my family and my friends were there supporting me and cheering me on. And most important, and most significantly, it was this weight. It was a weight of responsibility that I knew I'd soon be taking on. I didn't know exactly what lay ahead, but I did know, given that it was 2004 at the time, I'd soon be leading troops in combat, that it'd be my job to protect my fellow soldiers and to serve my community and represent my community. It'd be my job to make difficult life and death decisions. It'd be my job to maintain my integrity no matter what, in the toughest of circumstances. And much has changed since 2004, and I've got a few more miles under my belt. But the feeling I had that day, the honor, the weight of the responsibility, the drive to help and to serve. As I stand here today and I look around this room, I have that same feeling standing in this courthouse. And both of you hit on this. I have tried to dedicate my life to public service, and I had incredible role models in that, especially my mom, a public school teacher, which I still insist is the most noble form and thankless often of public service. But the values that I learned from them and many others, recognizing you're part of a community that is bigger than yourself. That each of us, every single one of us, has a responsibility to serve in whatever way or ways we can. That we never can leave anyone behind. Those are values that I learned from my parents, my teachers, my coaches, my scout leaders, my religious leaders, and of course my time in military service and in the private sector. And I feel that ultimately they all grounded me and prepared me for this moment. And I can say today, definitively, that the opportunity to serve as your county executive is one of the greatest and absolutely most humbling opportunities of my lifetime. And I thank you all for that, because so many in this room were part of making that happen. In my campaign, although it was short, it was intense. And I outlined a clear vision to lead our county forward. And that bold vision energized people across our county. And it resulted in, I think, a pretty decisive victory that says a lot about what our county stands for and what we're about, what we've done, and what we're going to do going forward. And what I'm excited about today, now it's time for the really fun part. I actually get to take action to execute this vision that I and we outlined on thousands of doors and tens of thousands of phone calls and so many other events and things that we did. And it's a chance to make Ulster County the most forward-looking, efficiently run, compassionate, smart, growth-driven county in New York State, and I think in our entire country. So much, I think, of leadership is about priorities, and clearly communicating priorities in the midst of all kinds of other competing demands, staying focused and making sure the whole team is aligned and working towards those priorities. So in that vein, I'm going to have my sort of big 5 priorities that I'm focused on. The first one, and it's really a lot of things that I talked about in the campaign. We are going to implement a Green New Deal here in Ulster County, because we can no longer wait when it comes to our climate, and 2, because we're perfectly positioned to be at the epicenter of this emerging green economy that's already happening, that's going to continue to accelerate, and it's now the opportunity to be on the leading edge of that. Secondly, we're going to ramp up, and I already started this a few days ago down at Ellenville Regional Hospital, we're going to ramp up our efforts to tackle the opioid epidemic. Ulster... This is a statistic that I don't take pleasure in sharing, but that we have to be honest about. Our county in 2018 had the highest overdose rate in the state per capita. So we cannot allow this crisis to continue to rip apart our community and our families, and it's going to take every single one of us, but I am committed to doing that and working with so many others to do it. Third, we're going to work to grow and diversify our economy. We're going to expand skills training programs to ensure workers can actually find good paying jobs here. Because when 40%, over 40% of people in Ulster County are still living paycheck to paycheck, that is absolutely unacceptable, and we are better than that, and we're going to do better than that. Fourth, we're going to continue to redefine what justice means in our county, and this is a long road, but we've started it with our Restorative Justice and Community Empowerment Center. We've started it by electing an incredible new sheriff. We're going to hopefully continue that with some of the elections coming up in 2019, but I know that we are already seen as a leader in redefining what justice means, and we're going to build on that momentum. And finally, we're going to make our county government more responsive and responsible, because taxpayers and residents deserve the absolute best services. They deserve a leader and a team that's going to be willing to look at and implement new, innovative approaches, and they deserve a government that is going to do everything with the highest degree of ethics and integrity, always as the most fundamental key of what we do. And our but it's not just going to be about what we get done. It's also critically important that we focus on how we do it. So number one, I promise you this: I will work relentlessly, nonstop, and I know my wife I will balance this, of course, with our family. But I'm ready to work my you-know-what off for the people of this county, and you can count on me and hold me accountable for that. And we're going to start that by being everywhere, showing up everywhere, listening, engaging. In my first 6 months, I'll be in every town, city, village, holding a town hall in every single one of our communities, listening, sharing the vision, refining the vision as we get information and input from our community. So I'll be out there and hopefully seeing you all and ask your help to within your communities engage and bring people to be part of those discussions so we can begin that conversation. Second principle of how we'll operate: everything we do in my administration will be as a team and as part of this tremendous broader community that we sit in here in Ulster County. Every success is not about me, but will be shared by all. Every challenge will be tackled as a collective because of this. There's one thing I've learned in my experience: the power of a diverse team to solve a complex problem is always going to be exponentially greater than any single individual. I think I'm so excited about this job because at its core, government is about service. It's about making sure we can provide for residents in the most efficient ways. It's about ensuring that we follow the number one rule that I learned as a young cadet, as an Army officer: we never leave anyone behind. That's what this community is about. That's what and as county executive, I promise that ethos of selfless service will guide every single member of my team, and that is how we will operate. So I know the goals that I outlined here, given a relatively short first term, might be seen as lofty. But I deeply, truly believe the reality is that to accomplish big, great things, you have to set the bar high, you have to be willing to take risk, and be bold. And we're in a place today, on the very same site, where the state of New York was born, where our state constitution was both adopted and read aloud for the first time in 1777 in this courthouse. We're in a courthouse that saw a former slave who could not read or write, Sojourner Truth, walk 10 miles to fight for her son's freedom, to win, and to make our world and our community a better place for it. So this is a fitting site for inspiration and for recognizing that we can and will continue to do great things here in this county. And I'll admit, I may be a bit biased, being born and raised here in Kingston, my family being here for 5 generations, and soon to be 6, as I said. But from that, I have tremendous confidence and indescribable pride in our county. We have built a reputation here, and this was alluded to, over the last, especially 10 years. We are now leaders on so many issues, from the environment to social justice to growing a more diverse and robust economy. If we, every single person in this room, this is my challenge to you, if we are all willing to continue to put in the work, I know we will continue to be a leader. And judging by the incredibly talented group we have in this room assembled, I know we will do that. So I ask you all, you're here I respectfully disagree with you, Comptroller. This is not about me. This is not about me at all. This is about us. It's about the 1,400 plus incredible employees that make up our Ulster County workforce, and I haven't met them all yet, but the ones I have, I mean, I could go on much longer than any of you want to hear about how dedicated they are, how smart they are, how passionate they are, how long, I mean, decades for many of them of committed public service. And it's about... And most importantly, it's about the 180,000 residents of this county. When I was a young officer and I'd wake up, the first thing I'd think about was the 30 or so young men and women I was responsible for. And when I go to bed at night, that I could slightly lift that weight off, but that was the last thought. And my ultimate promise to you is, as your county executive, every morning I wake up to lead this incredible county, I will have that same philosophy. The 180,000 residents of this county will be the first thing I think about in the morning and the last before I get in bed, probably too late to get too little sleep. I might think about our newborn as I'm in between those hours. So on that note, I just want to thank you all again. You throughout, especially the last 2 years, and it's a weird coincidence of fate that exactly 2 years ago on this day I declared my candidacy for Congress. It's just worked out. I don't know. And you're right, Comptroller. Life doesn't always work out exactly as we plan, but I was so inspired in meeting so many of you and thousands more that public service is where it's at. It's the coolest gig going. It really is. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for inspiring me. I ask that if I'm not doing things right, hold me accountable. Hold me accountable and tell me. If I do all right, you can let me know that too. But more importantly, hold me accountable and work with me. Be part of the team. You don't need to be an official employee to come into the office building or to give us a call. You have a great idea. This is Team Ulster County, and I'm so honored to kick that off with you all. Thank you. Feel free to join us over at Rough Draft after this. But I appreciate you being here, and I'm honored to take on this opportunity. Thanks again.